Hi there and welcome back to my channel. My name is Vera and on here I like to talk about everything that's going on in my knitting life. So today I had this, what I think is a very fun idea of doing kind of like a knitting wrapped of 2020, all the statistics and all the superlatives and all the things that are noteworthy that I want to talk about because I was inspired by the Spotify Wrapped when that came out like a month or two ago, and I just really thought it would be fun to do that with my knits. So a disclaimer up front, this is literally just for fun. Even if I put something in like the negative categories, I still knit it and I still wear it usually, so I will kind of give my reasoning for that. So it's all just for fun. Don't take anything personally. If you like a knit that I dislike, if you dislike a knit that I like, that's totally fine. I'm just making this video because I love statistics and I keep track of everything, and I also keep track of everything I knit, so I thought it was really interesting to make this video. So there will be a lot of charts, there will be a lot of graphs in this video. I have inputted all of the information into Google Sheets and it gave me some pretty cool statistics out of it. So I'll be sharing those in this video today. This video is only about my 2025 knits, so starting anything that I cost off in January and anything that I cost off in December. I know that I have some current ongoing knits, but those will be cost off in 2026, so those will go in anything that's 2026 related. Before we get started though, as with every video, I want to share what I'm wearing today. I'm wearing the honey cardigan by Kutovakika, which I knit up in Drops Air in half fisherman's rib stitch in this beautiful I think the color is called raspberry, in this beautiful dark, it's kind of like a burgundy bordeaux, not really bordeaux, more burgundy color. I love this jacket, but I'm not really a cardigan person. So this is one of my only cardigans that I actually own, and I wear it occasionally, but I definitely reach for sweaters more. I still love making this though. This was kind of my first big project in half fisherman's rib stitch. This was a 2024 make, and yeah, so I wear it sometimes. It's really warm because of the Drops Air. It's just a very warm yarn, so in that way it's nice that it's a cardigan because it gives me a little bit more airflow in the front when I am wearing it. But yeah, that's what I'm wearing today. Kutovakika's honey cardigan, size small in half fisherman's rib stitch. It's part of her first book, which I own, as many of you know, and that I've also knit a lot out of. So now we can get started, and I literally have a big spreadsheet in front of me so I can reference everything so that I can kind of do all the categories correctly. The first category is going to be my overall stats. So this is where we find out all the big numbers essentially. So first of all, how many garments and items did I knit this year? I knit 33 items this year, and let's have a look at the breakdown. Of those 33 items, 10 were sweaters, which I think is not bad. That's almost a sweater a month, and yeah, they weren't all for me. A lot of them were in a larger size as well, so that's a lot of knitting. Anyways, I made 4 vests this year, which is also more than I would normally make because I recently just kind of discovered the vest making. 2 out of those vests, however, are the same one. They're the ones I like, the Wilton vest, which is a pattern that I'm hoping to release soon, which I made 2 of to be able to kind of write the pattern. So I guess 2 out of those 4 vests are ones that I'm writing a pattern for, and the other 2, one I self-drafted and the other one, which one was the other vest that I made? I already forgot. Oh yeah, the Diamond Twill vest. That one was a very early on in the year knit. So I made 4 vests, then I made 4 summer tops or t-shirts. I made 7 hats, which is honestly really surprising because that's, in my head, I don't have any hat that fits. And looking at this, seeing that I made 7 hats, it kind of makes me question where did all those hats go? 2 of those hats were gift knits. I'm not sure. I need to reassess my hats. I'm also gonna be putting in pictures wherever I can, just so you can visualize it. But anyways, I made 1 accessory, which was a bag for my friend. I made 3 pairs of socks, one of which was a gift knit. I made 2 pairs of slippers. I made 1 pair of mittens and 1 mini scarf. So overall, I'd say that's a pretty good like distribution of items that I made. I mean, mostly sweaters, which I'm not surprised about. I love sweaters. I wear sweaters kind of like from autumn until and including spring. We do live in like a very like, we have all the 4 seasons, so it's pretty easy to wear sweaters even on the summer evenings. Like I'll still wear my sweaters. So those are definitely the ones I wear the most. Now in the winter, I wear a hat every single day. So I guess 7 hat makes sense. I'm not sure how. I mean, I know which 7 hats I made. A lot of them were also gift knits, granted. But yeah, so that is my overview of everything that I made. Now, how many of those were gift knits? Out of those, 10 were gift knits. So 10 out of 33 I knitted for someone else, which I think is like, I don't know, I think that's a lot of gift knitting that I did. I knit 2 sweaters or I guess I'm including things that I made for my husband this year as gift knits. I mean, they're still in the same household, but I mean, yeah, I made 1 sweater for him, 1 pair of slippers, and 1 hat for him, I believe. So 3 of those were for him, and then the other 7 were for either friends or family members. I made, so in total it was 3 sweaters that I gift knit. I made 1 vest that I gift knit, slippers, then 2 hats that I gift knitted. No, 3 hats that I gift knitted. Maybe I had 11 gift knits. I think I might have had 11 gift knits. Anyways, so around a third was gift knits. And I've really enjoyed like the gift knitting aspect of this year. I mean, I didn't always gift knit this much because I don't know, I felt like I wanted to keep most of my knits. So it was just kind of like making a sweater for someone else is definitely a huge undertaking. But even now when I look at my Ravelry queue, like a lot of those are gift knits. Actually, I have like 4 sweaters that I know that I'm gonna gift knit next year. So yeah, I think I am gonna become more and more of a gift knitter as time goes by, which I'm honestly kind of excited about because I have a closet full of knits, and I don't know, I think having other people wear something that you've knit is also really special. And like I am like fortunate that I do have like the time to gift knit, which obviously is not really like something that everyone can do or wants to do, and that's totally fine, but I just genuinely like I enjoy it. So yeah, definitely a lot of gift knitting this year, and that's also something that I'm going to be taking into next year. The next big category within the overall like statistics topic that we're talking about is the total meterage that I knit this year. And I have no idea if this is a lot or not. I don't know. I guess it's quite a bit because I do knit mostly in stockinette stitch. So the total number of meters of yarn that I knit this year is 19,947.5. There needs to be an asterisk behind that because whenever I held a yarn double, I only counted like the length of yarn that I knit. So for example, my Cosima sweater, I'll put in a picture, I knit in knitting for olive yarn held double, and in like if you count it double, I don't know if I'm explaining this right, but if you count it double, then it would have been 2,200 meters, but like because it's held together, it's only 1,100 meters. So with the 19,000, I took the 1,100 meters because I didn't actually knit 2,000 meters. I knit 1,000 meters, just 2 yarns held together. So almost 20 kilometers of yarn. I think that's quite a lot. I don't know. So it's kind of like crazy to think about because that's obviously a lot. I mean, I am also a runner, so I run. Right now I'm running anything like starting from a marathon. I mean, I ran maybe starting from 20-30 kilometers, like those are my favorite distances, like kind of the longer ones, the ones where you kind of are out like all day long because we are in the mountains. So yeah, 20 kilometers doesn't sound like that much in the running terms, but I think in the knitting terms, where like obviously if I run 1 step it's like almost a meter, but if I knit like 1 stitch, that's like what, not even a centimeter. So I think I also need to put it into that perspective. Yeah. Now the item that used the most yarn was my dad's. It was a gift knit, so it was the zipper sweater I made for my dad, which used 1,800 meters of yarn, so that takes first place. Second place was the Elizabeth blouse that I knit for myself. That used 1,512 meters of yarn, and third place is the king salmon sweater that I knit for my husband, which took 1,464 meters of yarn. So those were my three biggest knits in sense of like the amount of yarn that I used for them. And now let's get to the shortest knits that I had, or that I knit up. The first one, and I think these are correct, but it could be a little bit off. I think this one is fine. The first one is a gift knit as well. It was a hat that I made for a friend. This one used only 75 meters of yarn, which seems very little, but it was in drops air, which is very light. It used 75 meters of yarn, and it was a very small hat. Then the pink pair of socks that I made, I used 156 meters of yarn, and the third place from like the least amounts of yarn was the twisted hat by Kutovakika, which used 157 meters of yarn, which is, yeah, I mean, those items, they're all like tiny little accessories, and I mean, kind of nice that you can make something with just 75 meters of yarn, right? So yeah, those are my yarn meterages. Okay, now we're gonna get into some more fun statistics. So I analyzed all the designers that I knit from this year, and this is the result of that. So the chart is titled Count of Designer. My top 3 designers are, I guess if you take myself into it, I did self-draft a lot this year. I didn't self-draft that much, but 18.2% of all my knits were self-drafted. Then the second biggest one is, to probably no one's surprise, Petite knit, also 18.2%. Then the third one, also if you watch my videos, you know this, Kutovakika, 15.2%. And then we have a tied fourth place, Gregoria Fibres 6.1 and Caitlin Hunter also 6.1%. And everything else, like Caitlin Hunter and Gregoria Fibres, I only made 2 items of, and everything else I only like made 1 item from that designer. So, oh yeah, and Annie sews, but I mean it was the same item twice, so that's also 6.1%, but I don't know if we're counting that as 1 or 2. Anyways, and everything else, so I knit from Melina Brell, Feli Frey, Summer Lee, Annie Sews, like I said, Johanna Garish, Paula Strick, Nina Pommering, Trust the Mojo, Jenny Ansa, and the Norgard Knitters. I was actually a little bit surprised by this because in my head, I have been mainly knitting Kutovakika and Petite knit. I don't know, I didn't forget that I knit all these other designers, but it's really nice to see and like be reminded of it. Because I think it's always like Petite knit is so big in the knitting world, and like for me, so is Kutovakika because I have 2 of her books. That maybe the other ones are a little bit forgotten on the side, but I think it's really nice to see that I did knit. Like half of my knits probably this year were from like smaller designers, and I think that's pretty cool. I'm happy about that. Now the next fun category is color. Which colors did I knit in this year? So this is my color wheel. It honestly looks a little bit like not that happy, but this year I really tried to kind of like, I don't know, stick to colors that were in my palette, stick to colors that like were good for me. So to my surprise, I made a lot of pink, which was not me at all usually, but I think pink is also like a lot of the gift knits were pink, and a lot of the like smaller accessories were pink, like the scarf was pink, the little socks I made were pink. I didn't make like one big pink item. I do want to knit a big pink sweater though, so that would be fun. And yeah, then you also have a lot of beige, a lot of blue, some purple, some gray, and keep in mind those include all my gift knits as well. So I don't know, maybe I want to make my color palette a little bit happier this year. I don't know if that sounds sad or not, but I mean there's still obviously a lot of colors in this like color palette, but I think it could do with a little bit more happiness. I did just buy a lot of yellow yarn, so that will probably help it as well. Okay. Next category is what style did I create garments in, I should say. So here it is. I, to no one's surprise, knit 63.6% in stockinette. So most of my items, or over half my items, were just plain stockinette. 12.1% were color work. 21.2% were some sort of texture or a cable knit. And then one item, 3%, was crochet, and that was the checked hat that I made for my friend. So I'm not surprised by this at all. I did think I would I was knitting way more stockinette actually, but the texture cable knit, like I'm also including like something that's like a full hat and 2x2 rib that's not technically stockinette, so it is kind of like a texture knit, so I put it in the texture category. Because I don't think I made any like full cable knits. I'm still working on my Dagmars, it's not part of this. So yeah, I am looking to get this chart a little bit off the stockinette next year. I always say it, I always say that I want to knit more texture, but then a nice stockinette project comes along and then I just can't resist because I love it, and yeah, it is what it is, I guess. So those were my overall statistics of knits this year. Let's get to the award ceremony, the superlatives, the items that I want to highlight for various reasons. Or there's also like one or two lowlights in there, if that makes sense. I don't know. I feel like I wanted to include the lowlights because first, I wanted to talk about them to maybe also help other people who are looking to knit that, to just give them a little bit more information about the piece, and also to kind of like for myself commemorate the process of some of these, because some of these I had to really talk myself into sitting down and knitting, and I still finished all my items this year. So yeah, there was nothing that I started and frogged this year, which I'm really excited about, really happy about, because I did frog something that I started in 2024, but that was only like I had barely started it. But other than that, it was a pretty good year in terms of like frogging and like restarting, or like just getting rid of a project in that sense. So without further ado, let's get to the superlatives. So there's going to be little awards given out to these. Now, my favorite knit that I knit this year. So this is kind of the one that was a product knit as well as a progress knit. I'm gonna do like, this is like the top one, and then I'll talk about a progress knit and a product knit. This one that takes both categories. I'll explain in a second. My favorite knit this year that I made was the Margot top by Gregoria Fibres. This one took a long time. I knitted on 2.5mm needles, but the reason I put it in my favorite knit was that because it was a really enjoyable knitting experience, but it was also the item that I see myself wearing the most. It was something that was a little bit out of my comfort zone, like just garment shape wise. I didn't really have anything like that yet in my closet. It was also something like with the lace and everything. It was just not really something that I would normally knit, but I loved the outcome, and I think it's such a beautiful knit. It's also, I put it in this category because I think it can really be dressed up, which, I don't know, with a lot of summer knits, it might be a little bit harder to dress it up, but with this one, oh, chef's kiss. Such a beautiful finished item. I'm really, really excited about it, and I finished it late in the summer, so I only got to wear it a few times, but I'm really excited to wear it next year, and I know I will. So my favorite knit this year was the Margot top. My favorite product, like my favorite product knit, where you knit it not for the experience, but like for the end product. So like the experience might be like okay or not really that enjoyable, but you know that the end product that you're getting out of it is going to be really nice and really wearable. My favorite product knit this year was my Elizabeth blouse, the orange and gray striped one. It is knit on like pretty small needles, and I don't know, knitting, it was just kind of like, it was a little bit of a drag. I started in December, I finished it I think in like February or March. It just took a while. I'd put it down a number of times, I picked it up again, and then I don't know, one week I was like, I'm just gonna finish it. And then I think the Elizabeth blouse, the construction of it is one of my favorite knitting patterns. It is so nice, like with the collar, with the double folded like, or the double knit band in the front. It is such a beautiful piece of knitwear, and I wear that thing all the time. So that's definitely my favorite product knit. Where the project, like the progress was okay. It was fine. Like, I mean, it is knit on small needles on thin yarn, but I love the outcome. So that one goes to my Elizabeth blouse. Now my favorite progress knit, which is a knit that the outcome is okay, like I like the outcome, but the progress of it was really, really fun. So kind of like knitting for the knitting part of it, not necessarily for the outcome. My favorite progress knit was the King Salmon sweater that I made for my husband. That one was so fun, just like row by row. It was really engaging. Every row you had to like memorize like the little chart and then like repeat it a bunch of times, and then the fish were just growing, and I remember being like, oh my god, this is so cool, so many times, because then the fish would like get a little eye, and then it would get like a little fin, and then after a while you would just have like a full salmon. And then it was not that much to finish the sweater because the color work was so long, so large on the body. So that was a really fun progress knit, and the outcome is fine. I need to lengthen it because it doesn't really wear because it's too short. I've worn it a number of times. So yeah, that was my favorite progress knit. Now, my least favorite knit, and I'm basing this solely on like the knitting experience. I guess my least favorite progress knit was my Jose hood, my Jose hood. That thing took it out of me a little bit. I thought I was casting on a pretty quick project. It was not quick at all. It took forever, and then at the end I had over 300 stitches on one singular row that I was going back and forth, and then it asked me to do like 5 meters of I-cord, and I was like, this is not for me. And then I ran out of yarn like 3 times, and it was not a nice experience at all. I was so happy when that thing was done. I haven't even blocked it yet because I don't want to risk all the garter stitch stretching out so much and then it being super big, where like, yeah, it's fine as it is. I actually like wearing it, that's the thing. It was just not a enjoyable knitting experience at all. And then my least favorite product knit, where I must put an asterisk in terms of like, I've fixed it to the point where I actually wear it now, but that was my Give Me the Tea by Jenny Ansa. I follow the pattern, and I usually follow patterns pretty meticulously, but with that thing, it came out, it was wild. It was like a crop top that just covered like my upper bust, and it was just not wearable at all. It had weird short rows, it had weird borders. It was just not exactly what I was hoping, especially from looking at the picture and the pattern. So I made a bunch of modifications. I lengthened it by I think around 15 centimeters, which is a lot, and now it is wearable. So yeah, that was kind of like, when I had first finished it, I was like, this is not something that I can put on my body and actually go into the public with. So yeah, I was able to fix it, but that was definitely like my least favorite like product knit in that sense. Okay, let's get to my easiest and my most challenging knit of the year. Now, my easiest knit, that one was a little bit hard to pick because I do knit a lot of easy things. I like knitting something sometimes just to be able to sit in front of the TV and not look at all and just do my stockinette and be done with it. But my easiest knit that I've picked this year was the V-Mine sweater, which I made a whole video about, like how long does it take me to knit a sweater. The reason I picked this as my easiest knit was because it was just like a very mindless, quick knit. It was knit at a really big gauge, I think 15.5 or 16 stitches. And yeah, then it was done. It was lovely. Like, I think I took like under 20 hours, I don't remember it now, I think 19 hours or something like that for it. And then I had a sweater, and it was so easy. It's a pattern by Vera Jusila, and it's part of the book 52 Weeks of Easy Knits. Very just like your basic sweater, drop shoulder, nothing special at all. Knit the front, knit the back, join it together in the round, pick up for the sleeves, knit your sleeves, and you're done. So that one takes the easiest knit category. Hardest knit or most challenging knit. This one was also a little bit hard to pick because I really had to think back and like reflect on like the ones that kind of come to mind when I hear that. And the one I ended up picking was the Lars crossbody bag. Oh, this one, it looked so simple, but it was honestly not easy at all with all the I-cords. And it was also in part because of the yarn I chose. I chose a very unforgiving cotton 8/4 yarn on 2.5mm needles. So it was very tight. Then I had to pick up for the I-cords, and like I wanted it to look neat because it was a gift knit, and it was just not looking neat. Then I had to sew the inlet for it. And then with the straps, I just gave up and bought one because no, I even had to like crochet a border because it just wasn't closing the way. So that one was honestly very challenging, and I'm happy I knit it because it definitely taught me things like in terms of like I-cord finishing and like I-cord in the middle of a piece and so on and so forth. Would I knit it again? No, definitely not. It was challenging in a way that like it wasn't really that enjoyable. Like right now I'm knitting the Dagmar sweater by Petite, which is challenging but in an enjoyable way. This one not really. But yeah, the Lars crossbody bag it's visually a very cool bag. The designer is Johanna Gerisch. And if it was a little bit easier to knit, I would definitely knit one for myself, but it just wasn't, so I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, now let's get to the yarn categories. What was my favorite and my least favorite yarn that I used? This was such an easy category for me to fill in because two just come to mind, like one for each category. My favorite yarn used and a yarn that I kind of discovered this year. I'd heard a lot about it, I discovered this year, and I already know that, I mean, I ordered a lot more of it now for next year. But it is the Knitting for Olive merino yarn. I know everyone talks about it and now I understand why. It is such a lovely yarn. It's merino 100%. It's not itchy at all. You can hold it single, you can hold it double. And just when you hold it in your hand, it just like, it sparks joy. Marie Kondo would be very happy with me using that yarn. Yeah, so that was by far my favorite yarn that I used this year. There was some other good yarns that I used. I will do a whole like video about like all the yarns I used this year and like talk about yarns. Just because I feel like yarns don't always get talked about as much on here on YouTube. And I don't know, as a knitter, I'm always looking for a yarn to use. I love trying out new yarns. So sometimes I feel like the yarn part gets a little bit lost, which is a bit of a shame. So I'm going to do a video of like all the yarns that I used this year. My least favorite yarn I used was also very easy because it is the Diablo yarn by Hobie. I purchased, and I should stop doing that, honestly. I should stop purchasing yarn when it's on sale, when I get excited about it. But I purchased 20 skeins of it. So I still have like 12 or 13 of them or something. And I have a plan to use it, which is totally fine. But this is a yarn that's mohair, but only like 30% and the rest is synthetic. It's just kind of like a very crunchy feel knitting with it. It's not nice to knit with it. Wearing it, it's actually okay. It's very warm. Wearing it is fine, but just like the knitting experience was not nice at all with it. So that one is my least favorite yarn that I knit with this year. I use it to make my Cumulus blouse, and I think the end project looks really, really nice, and I get a lot of compliments on it actually, but still, I need to stay more away from synthetic yarns, I find, because also wearing them, it's very, not suffocating, but like a little bit, and I personally just don't love that. So yeah, I will use the rest of it, but I will not, I think, be purchasing more of the Diablo yarn by Hobie. Okay, my most worn knits and my least worn knits. This is also a category that was very easy because, first of all, I keep track of all my knits and everything I wear. So I just had to reference another Excel spreadsheet. My most worn knit is my Cosima sweater. And this is interesting because I only finished this in August, but even though I only finished it in August, I've already worn it the most out of all my knits this year. So the Cosima sweater is a pattern by byGregoria Fibres. It features this very high v-neck and I think it just looks really nice and elegant, so I wear it to work a lot. I knit it up in Knitting for Olive merino, which I just mentioned is my favorite yarn, held double, and I think the combination of just a really good pattern with a very nice yarn has made me realize that like it's what I reach for sure. The Cosima sweater just features a lot of details that are seemingly small, but they just all put together, they make a really well-fitting garment. Like things like short rows in different places, like decreases in places that like a lot of other sweaters I've never seen decreases with. So it's very well thought through. So I can only recommend the pattern. It is really my most worn pattern. I just wish I made it in a more, like in a stronger color, but it's okay. It is what it is. My least worn knit. And this one, I'm a little bit, like, I'm not sad about it, but I definitely, like, I'm going to make an effort to wear it more next year. I need to put a elastic in it. But my least worn knit this year was my Darjeeling blouse by Trust the Mojo. I don't even know why. I just don't really reach for it that much. I don't know if it's because it's really like a thicker yarn in the summer. I'm not really sure. It's bra friendly, which I find with a lot of summer knits, it's not always bra friendly, but I don't know why. It's just, I don't really reach for it. I think it looks really cute when I wear it, so I really want to wear it more. I made it in Drops Cotton Merino, which is really nice yarn. Like, I like that yarn, but for some reason didn't wear it that much this year with no real good explanation either. So let's go to my fastest project and my slowest project, and with this I'm taking my Ravelry cast on and cast off dates. My fastest finished was the purple Oslo hat, which we were on a road trip in Italy, or north of Italy, Südtirol, and I finished that thing in like 3 or 4 days, so that was really quick. It is an Oslo hat, but don't be fooled, because the Oslo hat is actually quite a lot of knitting still for how seemingly small it is, because it is a triple folded brim on a relatively small gauge. But yeah, this one I just knit up really quickly and I was able to wear it because it was May, but we were still in snow because it was in the mountains. Yeah, my slowest project was, and this is not really a big project, it was a small project. It was like the Trompe Le Monde socks by Summer Lee. Just my slowest project because it was a project that I always had in a little bag and I just took it on car rides. So whenever we would be on a longer car ride or even a shorter car ride and I didn't have to drive, I would be knitting those socks. So obviously they took a really long time to finish. I think I finished like the second half of the second sock within one afternoon because I just wanted them to be done. But yeah, that was, I guess, on paper my slowest finished. I'm really happy I finished them though because I've worn them a whole bunch. So yeah, but I guess some projects are faster than others. Oh yeah, I should also add that those socks took me 189 days to finish, so like half a year. But like I said, it was a knit that I was just doing literally 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there, an hour here, an hour there. So I guess it just takes a while. Okay, so that was my knitting wrapped for 2025. Honestly, mostly interesting to myself as well. I think it's just really nice to be able to look back at all the things I've knit at the end of the year and to reflect on it a little bit, to also go into the next year and kind of like keep those things in mind. So what are the things I am taking away from this now that I've had a moment to statistically reflect on all my knits this year? So what are the things that I'm gonna keep for next year? I'm definitely gonna keep the gift knitting. I really enjoy the gift knitting. I know not everyone does, but I actually genuinely like it. This is like the whole closet we have for the two of us, so I try to keep my things that I own to a minimum, and with gift knitting I still get to knit something that will be worn, just not for myself. So I'm keeping the gift knitting. What else am I keeping? I am keeping the yarns that I like. I mean, that's an obvious one. When you knit something with a yarn that you like, you'll definitely want to use it again. So yeah, that's something. I want to get more into the structural knitting. So right now I'm working on 2 projects which are both textured knits, and I want to continue that. Not for everything, but I definitely do want to see my textured knits part of the pie chart go up a little bit. Not necessarily to decrease my stock in it, but just because I want to. And also the color work. I love color work so much. Why am I not doing it more? I think all those things are things that I want to get more into, and I know I will because I already have most of the yarn for 2026 at home actually that I'm gonna use for projects next year, and I already know that there's gonna be a lot of texture, a lot of color work, which makes me very happy. Another things I want to start or keep, I guess, a little bit is my colored knits. I'm usually not the worst with knitting everything in a very neutral color, but I want to keep that and maybe venture more into actual brighter colors. Like I said, I bought the yellow. I have a lot of more colorful knits, I guess, at home to be cast on, so that will be something to look forward to as well. And in terms of the amount of garments I knit this year, I want to keep it. I'm really happy with how much I am knitting. I don't knit every day. I knit when I can. I knit after work. I knit on holiday. I knit on the weekends. But when I don't knit for a few days, that's also totally fine because, I don't know, I'm out skiing, I'm meeting friends, I'm doing other things, I'm running. I do have some races planned for this year as well. My first marathon is in March. And sometimes when you come back from a long run, it's just, I'm so tired. I don't really want to knit something complicated, if even at all. So I think like keeping that balance will be really nice, but I'm also not keeping myself to I have to knit over 30 items next year, not at all. Quite the opposite actually. If I'm gonna venture more into textured knitting, that'll probably slow down, and that is totally fine as well. Something I also want to keep doing this year, or next, I guess it's this year because we are in 2026 now, is to keep drafting my own things. Like I want to, you know, self-draft more things. I think it's really good in a challenging way for myself, and then also hopefully like make a few things here or there into patterns as well. So I will be on the lookout for test knitters. I'm very lucky that I have like a good group of test knitters, but if you're interested, like just keep an eye out either here or on Instagram is where I kind of put the calls out. So yeah, I already have like ideas in my head that I want to knit up and then make into patterns. I'm really excited to do that as well in 2026, which might also slow my knitting down. Who knows? I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, I think I'll leave it here for today. Let me know down below, like, if you do this with your knits. Like, do you look back at the end of the year and are like, oh, this is how much I've knit, this is how many meters I've knit, this was my favorite, my least favorite, and so on and so forth? Or do you not really care? Do you not look at it? Like, I'm just curious. I just really love, I don't know, having everything in one spreadsheet and being able to look at it and being able to like reflect on it, and I don't know, just have everything that you've created in front of you. I find that very fulfilling. Not like in a materialistic sense, but just kind of like in an achievement sense, sort of. So I enjoy it. Let me know down below if you do the same. I will end it here for today. So if you would like and follow along, if you want to be a part of test knits in the future and so on and so forth, I would love for you to subscribe to this channel. I try to post videos around about every single week, sometimes more, sometimes less. And yeah, I will see you in the next one, I guess. Until then, I hope you take care. Bye.